News Channel 7. This is Viewpoint.
And welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Joe Paris. We're in my favorite season. That is the season of giving. And we do live in a very generous community that gives all year round. But around the holidays, there is a special community connection. People coming together, strangers pitching in. You know how it works. And 7 Cares, Idaho Shares, it's a great example. You, the community, you show up big time, making an even bigger difference. But it continues beyond a day of giving. And a question I've heard over the years: how can I give back to the community, or where do I even start? And this is a great time to bring in our guest this week, Steve Burns, the president and CEO of the Idaho Community Foundation. Steve, thank you so much for your time. I'm curious, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this has got to be an exciting season also for the ICF.
It is. You know, we're all about giving. We're all about philanthropy. And so if there's an entire season dedicated to giving, then we're all in.
I guess a good place to start is we're talking about the Idaho Community Foundation. What is the Idaho Community Foundation, and what is a community foundation?
Community foundation, people, rather than set up a private foundation, they'll instead set up a charitable fund with us. And we do all the work associated with being the foundation, but they get to keep the fun part, which is, where do I want the donations to go? Which organizations, which causes do I want to support? And so depending on what people are trying to achieve, we can set up a fund that's right for them. And we've been around since 1988, and we have set up about 700 funds across the state.
Oh, wow.
From incredibly generous Idahoans who are, interested in taking care of Idaho. And all of those funds last year just generated about $12.3 million in donations across all 44 of Idaho's counties. And we just had our 35th anniversary celebration, and we surpassed $175 million in grants made to organizations, nonprofits, communities across the state.
And $175 million, I mean, that's all coming from the people of Idaho?
It's coming from people in Idaho, yeah. Idahoans taking care of Idaho.
So how do you connect with the local charities and nonprofits? How do they kind of get involved with the Idaho Community Foundation?
Well, for some, those fund holders are they're saying, hey, let's make a donation to the Boys and Girls Clubs or the YMCA or the food bank, whatever their passion is. We do have some grant cycles in which nonprofits can apply. We have one called Forever Idaho, which is our biggest, and it's about a little over $1 million goes across the state in that way. But we're a community foundation, and we are a community-driven grant maker. The staff at the Community Foundation, we don't make any of the decisions as to where the grants are going to go. These are people who've set up those funds who are making those decisions, and even that discretionary pot that I just mentioned, that Forever Idaho, we pull together local people from those regions who understand what are the issues, what are the problems, what are the organizations who are doing a good job, and they're the ones who are going to decide. I never want to show up in a community in Idaho and go, this is what we think you need. We show up in a community and go, this is your community. You tell us what you need, and we're going to do our best to try to help.
We touched on the millions and millions of dollars that have been donated to the Community Foundation. In terms of what's been done with that, what's the impact that millions of dollars has had over the years?
It's amazing, just all of these little threads that get, the communities when they ask. Sometimes it's for operation grants. A lot of nonprofits, they're trying to keep the doors open, they're trying to pay their staff. So it'll be for that. Sometimes it'll be projects. I was in American Falls, and there's, some playground equipment that was helped purchased with an Idaho Community Foundation grant. I was in the Homedale Library literally 2 days ago, and I was getting ready to leave, and I, was getting up, and there's a little sign in the window, and it says, all these tables and chairs donated by an Idaho Community Foundation grant. They had no idea I was there. They didn't know I was coming. There just was a little sign right there. And so we give away about 2,000 grants a year.
Wow.
And so, over 26,000 grants in our history. And so you start to add up all of those grants. I like to think of it as that we're supplying threads, and those threads get woven together, and that's what creates that social fabric in the communities.
It's incredible what you described, because from the smallest thing like chairs at a local library to, helping people continue to live in this community comfortably. I mean, the impact is as minute as possible to as macro as possible. How do you balance, I guess, that scale?
Really, it's up to all the people who are making the decisions on where those grants are going to go. They're the ones who are making that. And, there's all kinds of scales. I mean, some people have established smaller funds with us. Some people have established, huge funds with us. Sometimes it goes for capital campaigns, to help build something. Sometimes it goes for operational. There's over about 7,500 nonprofits in Idaho. When you think about the good work that they're doing. I mean, they're helping to take care of our kids. They're helping to take care of the most vulnerable people. They're providing incredible new opportunities. They provide the spaces and the places for us to come together as a community, for us to celebrate as a community. This is all being done by the nonprofit sector here. And so they need all the help that they can get. And so the fact that we get to partner with them, and a lot of times we just want to give them the grant and let them decide how they're going to use it. Nonprofits do incredible work, and you have to trust that they're going to do that good work. And so the fact that we're able to just say, put it towards your greatest needs. And if that means, paying the light bill, if that means building onto the building, if that means adding one more program to help kids, great. And then have at it and keep doing the good work.
I know that connecting with the local nonprofits is always a huge key, and there was something that the Idaho Community Foundation rolled out recently that it's made our newscast. It's got a lot of attention. Let's roll some video here of the giving station. Tell me a little bit about this vending machine that's over at Jump. I mean, what are we looking at here for people that don't know?
Well, there's a lot of people who have set up those funds with us, but there's other people who can't set up funds with us. So we want to make sure that philanthropy is accessible to everybody. And so we took a vending machine and we turned it into a giving station. And instead of going and buying candy bars and chips, you can go in and buy a donation card, and you're going to support one of the 24 organizations that are in there. And those donations are anywhere from $10 to $15 to $25. So we've tried to make it as accessible for people to do. But also, if you have a group, if you have a family go down there, and you now have your parents and their kids, and they're standing there and they're looking at all of those cards, and they're having a conversation about what's important to us in our family, which of these organizations are we trying to do? Philanthropy is a skill, and it can be taught. It's passed on. When I talk to generous people all over Idaho, one of the questions I say is, why are you so generous? And inevitably the answer is, this behavior was modeled for me. I was taught this. This was the expectation that was just placed upon me by my parents or my grandparents. Somebody set this expectation, and now they're paying it forward. And so if we can create a little opportunity to have those kind of conversations and to get the next generation involved in taking care of this place, then that's good stuff.
I think in such a digital world, it's cool to have like this station that you go to. And what you described, I actually saw at Jump, people gathering around pointing, oh, I love that nonprofit. Oh, I see that one. What have you seen firsthand, people checking out the machine?
Yeah, the good news is we've tried to put a wide variety of organizations. There's some human services ones in there. There's some arts ones. There's some cultural things that go on. So we wanted to make sure, because people's philanthropic interests are wide, and so we wanted to make sure with that. But yeah, it is. I mean, I think everybody, especially after COVID, is sick of being online. And so you can go and you can press buttons and this thing falls out, and it's an experience, right? And people, at the end of the day, stuff is stuff, but experiences, it's what makes you a person. It's what you're gonna tell the stories about, as you get closer to the end. Nobody goes, oh, let me tell you about this cool new thing I bought. They're like, let me tell you about this thing I experienced. And so I think that's one of the powerful parts of that.
We're sitting down with Steve Burns, the president and CEO of the Idaho Community Foundation. We do have to take a real quick break, but when we come back, more with Burns, and we will talk a little bit more about the ICF and what they're up to. You're watching Viewpoint. We'll be right back.
A+ Satellite is your friendly Dish Premier local retailer. But we're not just installers, we're your neighbors. With Dish, you get access to hundreds of channels, including your favorite sports, movies, and shows. The best part is, when you choose A+ Satellite, you're not just getting great service at an exceptional value, you're supporting your local community. Why sit on hold with an 800 number when you have access to the local experts at A+ Satellite right here at Fairview and Eagle behind Krispy Kreme? Service, trust, and value. That's A+ Satellite. Come see us today.
Fred Meyer gives you so many ways to save, on top of our lower than low prices. Enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. Earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon. And with a Boost membership, you'll save even more with double fuel points and free delivery. Plus, our weekly sales will keep your budget merry and bright. So get rewarded and save. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
Hey Mom, my throat hurts.
Oh, let's take a look. Ooh, we'll keep an eye on it, okay?
It still hurts.
Are those
Whether it's probably nothing or maybe something, Primary Health Urgent Care is right around the corner.
Get the best drive in the all-new Honda Pilot, HR-V crossover, or CR-V hybrid. See your Southern Idaho Honda dealer today.
KTVB, Idaho's News Channel 7, the station you can trust. Steady, reliable, consistent, award-winning original reporting from a team like no other in Idaho.
I never had a day that I didn't want to go to work.
For 70 years, we've followed through on a commitment to excellence, and you can count on us to continue. Then, now, always. We are KTVB, Idaho's News Channel 7. KTVB Plus. Download and stream for free today.
Welcome back to Viewpoint. We're sitting down this week with Steve Burns, President and CEO of the Idaho Community Foundation. Steve, I think some of our viewers, they might recognize you as we used to work with Zoo Boise, and that was a fun job. Moving into this job, as you and I were just talking during the break, for 6 years now, first of all, you've had 2 great jobs, but what's it like going to work every day knowing that you get to make a difference? You get to be a part of this foundation that's sole purpose is to help people.
You know, I get to go all over the state of Idaho, and I get to see the good work that the organizations are doing, but you also hear the stories about the people who need help, and especially the kids, you know, who need help. And then you also hear about the opportunities that are happening around the state. And so the fact that I get to come to work every day and help build this foundation so that we can take care of even more people and we can take advantage of even more opportunities, it's just good stuff. It's great. Yeah.
Is it ever a thought, you know, when you wake up in the morning, like, who do I get to help today? Because one thing that I find really cool about the Idaho Community Foundation, you guys are really helping in all 44 counties. And I know that there's a lot of jokes about, you know, it's Idaho, you know, Ada County and what's going on here. But you guys are really, you know, north, south, east, west across Idaho, which I think is unique.
We're the only statewide community foundation out there. And yeah, we do work in every single county. 2 weeks ago, I took a trip and I hit 6 counties, and so now I only have 1 county left. I only count a county if I've done business in that county, and so I've got 1 county left. So we go everywhere, and yes, we do grant a lot of money in Ada County, but we also grant a lot of money in other places around the state. One of the biggest success stories we've had, believe it or not, is Lemhi County, where salmon is. There have been a number of people who have set up funds there with us, and we're, you know, helping fund hundreds of thousands of dollars each year to organizations in Salmon, Idaho. And for a rural county and a real community to have that kind of support is just huge. I do think at times that people underestimate how much of an impact nonprofits are having in our lives, all the different organizations that are out there. And so if we're going to have those nonprofits do such an important part of creating a safety net for our community, but also being the main driver of some of the stuff that makes Idaho such a wonderful place to live, then we've got to figure out more ways to keep those organizations going. So many of them operate on a shoestring. I mean, or some wish they had a shoestring. It's that much of a bare bones operation. And so anything that we can do to help that community and to help people be more philanthropic, because at the end of the day, communities don't happen by accident. They happen because the people who are there say, we're going to strengthen this community, and then also come to the realization that that strengthening process, it never ends. It just goes on. You then go into, well, then how do we maintain this strong community? And one of the ways to do that is with philanthropy. You've got to, at the end of the day, it's about giving.
I know that both of you know that there's a fact about this community and this state. It is a very generous state, that people care about each other. I know for a fact people sitting at home are going to be saying, Joe, ask them how we can get involved. How can people get involved at the Idaho Community Foundation in their Idaho community?
Well, for the next few weeks, you know, believe it or not, I mean, U of I just came out with a study and it showed that in the last 5 years, 26% of the whole state has moved here. 500,000 people have lived here for less than 5 years. And to all of those folks, I say, great, we're glad you're here. Well, we need you to help, you know, take care of this community that clearly was interesting enough to you that you wanted to move here. So great. One way to do that is to get involved with philanthropy. So for the next few weeks, head down to Jump. Like, not only are you donating, but it's also a cool way to start to learn about the nonprofits that are here. You could go to our website. You can look at, how would we ever create a fund? How do we become a member of the Idaho Community Foundation? Another awesome way is we are a proud partner of 7 Cares and Idaho, and so if you want to, give to that, that's just one great way, and you can do that just this week.
And I know in the digital age, and we talked about how it is cool to go see something physical, but in the digital age, really easy to connect on your website. What kind of resources are out there if people want to learn more about ICF?
You can go to our website. We've got information about how would we ever set up a fund. If you go to that page that talks about the giving station, you can learn about the various nonprofits. You can see different scholarships that we have to offer. I mean, there's a whole variety of ways that people can come involved with us. And what we're interested in is promoting philanthropy, growing philanthropy in Idaho. And so for some people, they might go, oh, great, we're going to work with the Idaho Community Foundation. Other folks are going to say, we're going to go work with this directly with this organization or that organization. I applaud the effort. Whatever is your passion, whatever cause or organization is important to you, get involved. If you want to create a vehicle that's going to last for, ever potentially to help support those organizations, then we can help you with that. Whatever way you need to get involved in philanthropy, there's plenty of ways to do it.
I know that we're coming to the end of our interview and also to the end of 2023. For you, what sticks out about this year in terms of what you've seen?
With Idaho in general?
Yeah, with what you've seen, the giving, what sticks out to you when you think back to the past this year?
Just to hear the stories of why people give, I was talking to a gentleman, he decided that he was going to sell the family farm. And he just said, at the end of the day, he goes, I got everything I need. I got a house, I've got a car, I can go on vacation. I don't need this. I'm going to make sure that these organizations are taken care of. And when you see that, it's gratifying, it's humbling, it gives you faith in humanity. You realize, wow, there's good people out there who care deeply. And when you hear about all of the problems, it's easy to go down a rabbit hole, right? It becomes overwhelming. And you go, where do I even start? And the way to start is, I think Eleanor Roosevelt said, if you want to begin, the best way to begin is to just begin. And so pick your cause, pick your charity, pick your organization, and just start. Start somehow. Give them $5 or give an hour of your time, whatever you can give. And that philanthropic journey, you're going to be taking care of your community, but at the end of the day, you're probably going to end up receiving more than you ever gave in terms of the rewarding and the friendships and the relationships you develop.
Steve Burns with the Idaho Community Foundation, thank you so much for joining us on Viewpoint this morning. We got to take a break, but when we come back, taking a little bit of a look at election coverage. You're watching Viewpoint on KTVB.
If you want to save big on taxes and feel it's unfair billionaires get all the breaks, today's guest has some great news for you. I'm here with Ryan Thacker of Boss Retirement Solutions, a 5-time winner of the Best of State Award. Ryan, tell us this story.
Well, Nisha, you've heard of Peter Thiel. He invested his way to $5 billion without owing a dime in taxes. And the good news is we all have access to the same tax savings tool. When he co-founded PayPal in 1999, he bought shares of his company through a Roth account. Now, his account is worth $5 billion, but the biggest story is he doesn't owe a dime of taxes on it because he used the Roth account. 100% of his earnings are tax-free, and now you can make the most of this same legal tax-saving tool by converting your traditional IRA into a Roth account, Nisha.
Wow. So what advice do you have for our viewers who want to know if a Roth account is right for them?
You want to do this right. The first time, you don't want to make any mistakes or that will cause headaches. And so we'll show you how with a free customized Roth conversion analysis. Here's how it works. We get some basic information from you, and one of our fiduciary advisors runs the numbers to show you exactly how much money you could save by converting to a Roth. And we want to help make the most informed informed decision about this Roth conversion today.
Ryan, thank you so much. To learn how much you could save in taxes when you retire, call Boss now for a free customized Roth conversion analysis. If you've saved at least $200,000, just call the number on your screen to schedule your free analysis. There's no cost or obligation, but you must call today to get on their calendar. They've helped thousands of families save on their taxes when they retire, and they can help you too. So call now.
Hey, welcome back to Viewpoint. We had a little election overtime this week, mayoral runoffs in Mountain Home and Eagle. So we wanted to get some thoughts from both of the mayor-elects. Let's start over in the city of Eagle. The people spoke. City Council President Brad Pike will be the new mayor. Let's have a look.
I think they reached out and tried to find anything that can be twisted just enough to make the public confused. And yeah, these PACs, boy, I learned a lot about PACs this election.
Eagle Mayor-elect Brad Pike saw the intensity surrounding the mayoral runoff getting pretty serious. It escalated to the Idaho Republican Party putting out on their official social media a message directed at Pike. Quote, "It is important to be aware of the groups and organizations, such as the Democrats, that are supporting a certain candidate." It roots back to a flyer paid for the Preserve Idaho PAC. It paints Pike as the Democratic candidate in the nonpartisan race, insinuating he took liberal dark money.
Here's the deal. I didn't receive any money. Okay, the Democrats didn't give me a dime. The Republican Party sure didn't give me a dime. In fact, after 41 years, Joe, I'm very disheartened that I felt like the Republican Party that I put so much into turned their back on me. I mean, let's be real about it.
Political action committees, or PACs, getting heavily involved in the race was a surprise to many. Came with an impact for sure.
They took some information and really ran with it, and that was so disheartening for me to, you know, I can't get out there and rebut everything getting thrown out against me, but I could tell you that the erroneous information that was thrown out there is absolutely false, and I'm just sad that it had to be taken to that level.
Still, Pike is ready to get to work, and that includes bringing the community together. Harmony, as he puts it. Much more to also get to work on.
Well, outside of the harmony part, obviously public safety and economic stability are the two cornerstones of my platform that I ran on, my campaign. I feel it's imperative, though, Joe, that we get the right staffing levels up. We had to reallocate, like I've said before. You pick your line items that you think the monies need to go to. Public safety is the paramount cornerstone of any successful community. So that has to be addressed, and I think there's a way to implement those funds through the general fund to make that happen.
There's quite a circumstance as well for Pike. He was the lone member of City Council that voted against annexing Avamore. That's a done deal now, but Pike and City Council will need to work with developers in the community to figure out how to address concerns.
The irony of this whole conversation with Avamore is I didn't think we were ready for it. I think on our last interview we talked about we weren't ready for it. That's still my strong opinion on it. I'm going to stay there. The fact that they are here, they legally went through the process. The partnerships that I gleaned and I want, it's going to be interesting to see how developers come to me as the mayor and have a dialogue of what their plans are and how their whole project comes to fruition, because I just think it wasn't the right time, and I'm just going to stay committed to that.
Another runoff in our area this week. Rich Sykes will remain the mayor of Mountain Home for another 4 years. Our Jude Binkley caught up with him the day after the runoff.
Mountain Home voters have spoken, choosing to re-elect Mayor Rich Sykes. Mayor Sykes cited several reasons why he believes voters chose him for a third term.
I'm very fiscally conservative when it comes to my policies and procedures. I'm not a radical extremist. I'm here for all the citizens. I don't care if you're a Democrat, an independent, a constitutionalist, Republican. I'm just here to do what's good for everybody and move the city forward in that direction.
A direction propelled by projects like Mountain Home's fiber optics program to take the city into the 21st century.
Broadband is an essential service, just like water, wastewater, telehealth, telemedicine, everything, right? All our kids' Chromebooks are Wi-Fi enabled, so we definitely wanted to make sure that every citizen will be able to afford this broadband project.
Over his next 4 years at the helm of the city, Mayor Sykes also has his eye on upgrading and improving city infrastructure.
Getting the city pool up and running for the kids this year, or for the community this year. Streets is never ending. We always have to try to improve the streets, get them fixed, up and running. Infrastructure, we got wells coming that we need to put in place. We got a sewer lagoon that we need to come online, and then just overall quality of life, making sure the citizens are happy and making sure that they have all the amenities that they want and deserve out in Mountain Home.
Sykes says the biggest challenge the city currently faces is with housing.
We've approved over 2,000 dwelling units, but we want to do it smartly. We want to do smart growth.
Smart growth in what Mayor Sykes says is one of the most diverse communities in the Gem State. A diverse environment that makes the city better.
The Air Force Base and our families out at the 366 Gunfighters, they have made us one of the most diverse communities, and we're better for that. And I think if anybody takes anything away from Mountain Home is that we do care and share, and definitely when it comes to taking care of our families and friends and neighbors, that's what Mountain Home is.
Thanks to both mayor-elects for their time this week. A very busy week. We'll hear from both of them in the near future. So let's talk about the holidays a little bit. Did you know that the iconic Christmas movie, A Christmas Story, is 40 years old this year? Better yet, did you know the lovable main character, Ralphie Parker, a.k.a. Peter Billingsley, he's an Idahoan? Well, now you know. In Billingsley, he was here in the KTVB studios this week. We stole him for a quick interview. Check it out. Imagine the perfect Christmas Eve. Fluffy snow floating through the sky, a nice fireplace with a symphony of cracking wood, maybe a little Christmas Eve snack. Over on the television, the 24-hour marathon of A Christmas Story.
The Red Ryder 200-shot range model air rifle.
Ah yes, A Christmas Story. The perfect tone for the winter season. Kids just being kids, and it's all about the determination surrounding a successful holiday season. Ralphie Parker's campaign for a Red Ryder BB gun stands the test of time 40 years after the original release.
Yeah, it's just that kind of movie that's really gotten so embedded into the culture.
Familiar face? Yep, that's Peter Billingsley, an Idahoan. He moved to Eagle about 2 years ago for the same reason many people came to Idaho, a better life for his family.
You are approached generally daily about it, or people are surprised that you're now in Idaho, what you're doing here.
Of trying to come up with the
Billingsley is no Ebenezer Scrooge. The excitement for the holiday season is authentic.
It's a movie that brings so much joy to people, and that joy is genuine, that it's hard to tire of seeing that in people. It's just it's something that families consume constantly, and as I said, just brings a lot of joy.
A Christmas Story takes place in the fictional town of Holman, Indiana. Certainly not Idaho, but Billingsley believes the spirit of the story registers perfectly in the Gem State.
Certainly the relatability of going to school in the cold in the Midwest where this takes place is familiar to a lot of Idahoans as well.